Welcome to 13 Architects Children Should Know. Alright, first off on our list is this guy named Filippo Brunelleschi. Brunelleschi. He's from Florence and he's awesome. He built something that was literally inspired by a cracked egg, a broken egg, half of an egg, and that's what inspired this dome here. He made this contest where it made other architects figure out how to build this dome sturdily for 5 million years. That lasts 1,000,000 years, and then they all tried their ways. The egg could not stay on the concrete block. He smashed the egg, and he turned this into the dome, and he built the dome. First architect done. By the way, this is called the Basilica of Santa Maria in Florence. On to the next one. Alright. Our next architect here is called Andrea Palladio, and Andrea Palladio is actually made a lot of patios too and villas because, well, he was a stonemason and a sculptor, and he would have stayed at if not one of his sponsors went ahead and found out that he was a really good architect, and he made him study some ancient Roman stuff. Afterwards, he tried to build some temples, but then he realized no one worships the Greeks and the Roman gods anymore, so he mainly built villas that were based on Greek and Roman villas. There were temple entrances on each of the 4 sides of this villa that he built. It's called La Rotonda. It's in Vicenza, and this sits gracefully on a small hill. It has 4 temple facades, 1 for each side, and you might not even be able to discover where the building exists. He even built the Redentore, Church of the Most Holy Redeemer in Venice. And on to the next one. Alright, our next little artist we have here, our next architect here is Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Now, Bernini himself was actually a pretty good architect too. He actually was trained to be a sculptor, and he was also good as an artist, as a painter. He was also really great at writing plays, as well as these short little caricatures, little essays or little stories that make fun of someone in a fun way, criticize someone in a fun way. And he was born in Naples and he died in Rome. One of his most famous things is the baldachin. And this baldachin here is actually built right above the tomb of Saint Peter. And because it's built right above the tomb of Saint Peter, there's a lot to really talk about and uncover here. Alright, next up we have... Oh yeah, he also built the Vatican Square, which is quite an impressive feat because I've been to the Vatican myself as well. Alright, next we have this Oxford astronomy professor, and his name is Christopher Wren. And he was teaching astronomy, and then he decided I'd rather be an architect. And then the local London bakery fire of 1666, which wiped out all the city, the king appointed Christopher Wren as well as another team of architects to go ahead and figure this out and try to rebuild London. He built 52 churches, and to this day, 15 of those churches survived. Alright, this is one of his churches. It's called the St. Paul's Cathedral. St. Paul's Cathedral, and it's in London. Our next little architect we have here is Balthasar Neumann. Now, Balthasar Neumann was actually a bell maker. He was actually a bell maker, as well as the fact that he also built guns and other sorts of weapons too. He also actually was a pyrotechnician, because that basically meant that he was able to create a bunch of good fireworks. He was great at making weapons. He was also great at making simple bells. However, he actually decided that he loved to build things, and then this guy named Johann Philipp Franz von Schönborn, the Prince Bishop of Würzburg, he wanted a new palace. He appointed him, a Neumann, to be the director of this huge project in 1720. And this was, of course, a literal daring choice, because this guy was new, but he built this. And he also built this. It's called It's called the Pilgrimage Church of the 14 Saints. On to our next architect, we have Thomas Jefferson. Surprising to see a U.S. president as an architect, isn't it? Now, Thomas Jefferson himself, the only thing that I've ever seen him design that was actually worth looking at was his own estate home. And that is Monticello. Monticello is his home, and he went ahead and he built this from scratch himself. Also, his measurements were a bit too much in my opinion. He even went to the fifth significant figure of millimeters, and it's built in Virginia. And nowadays, it's a little museum that literally houses a lot of his inventions. Alright, next up we have Gustav Eiffel. Gustav Eiffel, you know this guy as the person who literally built the Eiffel Tower. He didn't build he didn't build churches or palaces, he built stuff out of steel. He built railways, he built towers, all out of steel. Even statues out of steel too. He built the Eiffel Tower out of steel, and it only took 2 years to complete. What an amazing feat too. Also, most of the steel that came to build the Eiffel Tower were actually created in Gustav Eiffel's own company factory. And he also involved in helping the creation of the Statue of Liberty as a gift from France to America. Alright, next up we have Antonio Gaudi. Next up we have Antoni Gaudi. Antoni Gaudi. Now, Antoni Gaudi himself, literally, he went ahead and built a bunch of things. He built a bunch of cathedrals, and right now, the one that's under progress is called the Sagrada Familia. The Sagrada Familia. And this was designed by Antonio Gaudi. Wait, Antonio Gaudi lived 2 centuries ago. Why is his cathedral still not finished? Well, that's because lack of funding and lack of actual integrity too. I think they procrastinate a little too much. Either that or it's pretty difficult to build something like this, even by modern standards. They're still missing this tower piece here. These 5 stars that you see, these flower stars you see here, those were just built. And they've still got much more to build. And when it's finished in 2040 or sometime then, it will be the largest the largest Catholic church in the entire world. Yeah, he also built Park Güell, which I've been to. I'll show you about it later. Alright, our next one is Frank Lloyd Wright. No, this is not the Green Ninja! No, this is not the Green Ninja. He's called Frank Lloyd Wright. And he built a lot of things from nature. He used nature resources and the natural resources that are from nearby places to actually build things. He built this villa to go ahead, and he built this villa so that he can suit the people that lived and worked there too. All of this came from nature too. Nowadays, this place that used to be lived by other people is just a museum. Wow, a lot of buildings that used to be lived in that turned into museums. Speaking of museums, he also built a museum, the one in New York City, the Guggenheim. By the way, if you hate my spelling, it's literally written right here. The Guggenheim. Alright, he hated the New York building, so he built this. Alright, okay, I'm gonna speed this up. Our next one is our next architect is Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, he went ahead and built this big fancy thing called the German Pavilion in Barcelona. He built this in Barcelona because he actually went and ran away from Germany because of the National Socialists, the Nazis. And he was also the one who built up the concept of the plaza. It's essentially what my first house in Minecraft looked like. Next up, we have Le Corbusier. Le Corbusier was born in Switzerland and he died in Nice, France. And he built this. It's called. Okay, I'm gonna try to write this as fast as possible. Notre Dame du Haut, and it's literally called the Pilgrim's Church. The Pilgrim's Church, and in my opinion, it looks too much like a hobbit hole. Next up, we have Frank Gehry. Frank Gehry himself is actually a pretty good architect too. He's also an artist, and he wants his buildings to look more or less like sculptures, more like art. He built this museum called the Guggenheim. It's called the Guggenheim Museum. Yes, there's another Guggenheim Museum other than the one in New York City. However, this one you actually have to go ahead and visit in Bilbao. It's called the Bilbao Guggenheim Museum. It looks immediately like a structure, and with all this structure that goes ahead, it just looks so much like it. Like art. It looks so much like art, and depending on the time of day, the walls, the outside looks different. He even built this. It's called the Walt Disney Concert Hall. Yay! I hope this guy gets in the Disney movies sometime soon. And our final architect on this list is Zaha Hadid. Zaha Hadid is also the only woman on this list as well. She's from Iraq, and she's living proof that well, women can also become famous architects as well. She built this. It's the Fano Science Center in Wolfsburg, as well as the ski place that also won her another award. It's called the Berg Isel Ski Jump. It was built from 1999 to 2002 in Innsbruck. And this dramatic style was perfect for a ski playing place, so some people commissioned her to build this. And with that, she actually went ahead and built it. She mainly focused on the ramp, and after that, she needed a place for them to start. So she built this little cafe on top, so while other people watched other people ski, they can also start from here. I'm never going to this place. I'll probably go up there just to watch them ski in the cafe, and probably get a drink or two. Wow, a cafe at a skiing place. That sounds perfect. And that's it. As a bonus, here are a few photos of me getting someplace like this. This is me at the Sagrada Familia exterior, and it's under construction, where the 2 stars still haven't. And here, the 2 stars, there are these 2 stars that are still under construction at the time in 2023, which is about a year ago. And there are a few other places to really talk about too. Here's me at the front of the entrance. And here's me when I was like 8 or 9 years old at the Guggenheim in New York. Here's the exterior with me and my parents. Here is Park Güell, also created by Gaudi. Hey. There's my dad, and here's me. Here's me, and here's my dad. That's such an awesome thing to do too. Oh yeah, the only reason why this place is filled with stuff is that's all coins, so it's essentially a wishing well. And as a little bonus, this is Porto. This is Porto in Portugal with the nicest sunset you've ever seen. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you guys soon. Until next time, Shannon out. Peace. Bye bye. See you guys soon. Shannon out. Peace. Bye.